Welcome to the first episode of Adding the Alchemy. I am your co-host, Angie.
And I am your other co-host, Angela.
Angela and I have been talking once or twice a week for the better part of this year about our own healing journeys. And we've had so many deep and profound conversations about all kinds of things that we just thought these conversations would be beneficial for so many other people to hear. So we thought we would start a podcast. And here we are. So you are going to hear us dive into topics like holistic approaches to healing, various healing modalities, the intersection of spirituality and being human, our own healing journeys, and tips for yours. I will say that this is not a professional podcast by any means. We are kind of flying by the seat of our pants here, and you may hear dogs barking and just whatever. So we hope that you will bear with us and enjoy what we have to say. And today is just a basic introduction to who we are and what we do and why we do it. So we are glad that you are here with us today for our first episode of Adding the Alchemy. So I will go ahead and start by telling you a little bit about myself. I am a board certified holistic health practitioner. And what that means for me is that I help people tap into their own bodies to discover what they need to be their healthiest and happiest. This is really not a one size fits all approach. I do not have a series of things that I go through for every person, no matter what their issues are. I take that person individually and help them discover what their body needs, what their mind needs, what their spirit needs, so they can really be happy and healthy and thrive. A lot of times also people have unexplained symptoms that they have tried to figure out for a long time and can't seem to figure out how to fix them. And maybe they've been to a doctor and maybe they haven't, but these things just continue to plague them. And so I help people find the root cause of those symptoms so we can actually clear them out and not just put a Band-Aid on them. So that is what I do as a holistic health practitioner. It is truly a holistic approach to healing body, mind, and spirit. A fun fact about me is that I am a reflector in human design. And if you know anything about human design, the reflectors are the most rare of the types. Only 1 to 2% of the population are reflectors. And I find that this helps me a lot in this area of work because as a reflector, I am a mirror. I help other people to see about themselves what they need to see and where adjustments need to be made so they can truly live their most aligned lives. I also happen to be a 1-3 profile. Now, what that means is I am an investigator and I am a researcher and I am an experimenter. So if I am interested in a particular subject, I will do all of the research, all of the investigating, all of the learning, and then I use myself kind of like my own guinea pig, and I do the experimentation upon myself. So that takes a lot of the work out for my clients. I've already done a lot of that work. I've already done the research. I've already done the experimenting. So you get to learn, you get to benefit from what I have already done. I love human design. I'm fascinated with it. And because of that, I also offer human design readings for anybody that wants to learn more about their own specific design and how they can live that out. Another fun fact is that I am a Sagittarius sun and rising, and that means I have a lot of fiery, freedom-seeking energy. And I'm actually really excited that we are recording this podcast today on the first day of Sagittarius season because it is my season, and so it feels good. I am a Libra moon, which means that I bring in a little more balance and fairness and a little more diplomatic energy into that. Also, I'm a musician. I actually spent 20 years of my life as a music teacher. I was a vocal music major in college, and still love to sing and play piano, although that is not the career that I am currently in at this point. So that's a little bit about me. How about you, Angela?
Yes. So, hi, I'm Angela. I am a certified rapid relief technique facilitator. And what that is it's a form of tapping that helps you to get to the core wounds of your emotional issues. Um, and I think with me and Angie are very good at complementing each other, because where she works more in like the physical body, I work more with the emotions and the emotional causes behind things. So um, I do this, and like she said, also this is also a very um, tailored approach to each person that I work with, because we all have different experiences and different things that we go through, and different symptoms and all of that. So it's also a very tailored experience. Um, I also am a Reiki master. I don't really use Reiki as much and anymore. I don't do it on people pretty much at all. I use it mostly for myself and for my pets. Um, so, that's also something that for me is kind of that, like you were saying, the intersection of spirituality and being human is like, the spiritual practices, but also that emotional practice that kind of, ties the two together. Um, I do actually have a certification and went through a course about the science behind all of the rapid relief technique, and the science behind, changing our emotional set points and changing our view of the world to happiness and all of these things. So I really help people to hone in on, what is stopping them from getting to what they want, where they want to go. And also I teach happiness and emotions in a different way than most of the world teaches. So it's a very different approach to most of, and I think that's why this podcast is going to be so interesting to so many people, because we don't this is kind of something that isn't talked about much at all. So coming here, you're going to learn a whole new perspective on things. So in human design, I am a manifester, which I'm not really deep into human design. Angie's more the human design, the human design gal. But a manifester for me is just like the very big energy. Like I bring the big ideas. And then I have people like Angie or others like that help bring that into the world also. Um, but I don't really get so deep into it, but I am a 2-4 manifester, which is like the hermit opportunist. So I'm very like I need my space, I need my hermit time, I need my alone time, but I also like notice when there's an opportunity that I need to partake in, or I can put myself out there at the right times. Um and I am also a splenic authority. So how Angie does her research and does this and does that, I'm more of like, okay, let's do it. Like I get the instinct, I go. I get the instinct, I go. Like I don't have the I'm just built, we're built completely differently. Again, why I think this is gonna be so great. But yeah, so I just kind of like I get the instinct and I go. And this has gotten me in trouble a lot when I was a child, because that people can't really understand that big energy. And I think the manifestors are one of the rarer ones also. I think it's what, like 9% or something of the something like that. So also like it's hard for families of manifestor children to understand this big energy that anyways. So I also have 2 dogs, and kind of how I got on this healing path. One of my dogs got very sick, and I started looking into natural remedies for, to help her out. And it kind of took me on the journey to help her with her issues, but also like back into myself, because it was such a stressful time. I had to find peace within myself. And so I I was constantly looking for external things to be able to you know go back to me, but it was just, so I finally found this tool and I got certified in it, and I've been helping people and myself, go into the journey to be able to build happiness and build the life that I want and all of that. um I am a Capricorn sun. I'm not much of an astrologer. And I think a Libra rising.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we're both Libra rising.
Yeah. Well, I'm a
Um,
Libra moon. You're a Libra rising.
okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Um, yeah. Okay. I'm not like, I don't know much about astrology, but yes, that is, but like Angie was saying about the intersection of spirituality and being human, I think that there's like one side of the healing journey that's, all into like meditating and just spiritual and energy and all of that. And then there's the other side of healing that's like, that's not even real, blah blah blah. So what we're here to do is basically bridge the gap between those and show you, and how we have done the work in the spirituality and being human, but in a way that encompasses it all, and so that you can see clearly like what is going on in the world around you, and start to like heal from within. So um
Yeah. And what I think is really, really fascinating too about the conversations that you and I have had together really have facilitated our own healing on a deeper level, because we have each shown each other some aspects that we
mhm,
might not have seen otherwise, which is why it's so helpful to do this work with somebody else, even if it's not somebody that's farther along on their journey. Sometimes they can have a different
mhm,
perspective or just help you see something where it clicks in a way that it never has before. And you and I have both had those experiences in talking with each other.
mhm.
So I'm really hopeful that those who are listening and following along with our journey now and this podcast will have similar experiences as well, and know that they can reach out to either of us or both of us if they want more help along that process. I think it's
Yeah,
really cool. Go ahead.
I was just going to say it's really awesome to have like a processing partner,
Yeah.
whether that's a coach you're working with or just a friend that but somebody that is going to be like, is that really what you mean?
Mhm.
Like call you out,
Yes.
but at the same time respect and see you for exactly what's happening, and not try to change anything, or just bring to the light, like, but call you out at the same time, in a loving way that helps to facilitate your healing in a deeper way. And I think a lot of the world, it's hard to find that in a person, a friend. It's really difficult a lot of times, because in this world it's like people want things from each other, and it can be difficult, and that's exactly why like a mentor or someone can help also. But yeah, a processing partner definitely makes a world of difference when you're going through the deep things. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think it's fascinating that you came to this part of your healing journey through your animals. That's really cool. I have a dog as well. He's my first dog, and he's definitely my soulmate. I feel like he's been with me for several lifetimes. So I love that. I came to this line of work a little bit differently. So I was always into health and fitness. When I was in high school, I wanted to be an aerobics teacher. I remember my mom had like the Jane Fonda workout records and the leg warmers and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So like I had this desire to be the Jane Fonda workout teacher. And so aside from that, I was always, conscious of nutrition and things like that. Um, But at the same time, throughout my entire life, I had this series of unexplained symptoms. As a small child, I had really bad migraines. I would get these mouth ulcers, like not just one, but 6 or 7 in my mouth at one time. These were things that were incredibly painful and plagued me quite a bit. As I got older, other symptoms showed up. I would have a lot of joint pain, extreme fatigue, crazy mood swings, hormonal issues. At the height of all of it, I had extreme hair loss. I lost about half the hair on my head in a period of 3 days. Now I just choose to lose it. But but at the time I wasn't choosing to lose it. So that was very, very difficult. But anyway, I was finding no help from medical doctors with all of these situations, and they were just getting worse. So about 10 years ago, I started doing my own research. There's that one line. I started researching, and the first thing that I did after doing that initial research was an elimination diet. And I began to take several things out of my diet to discover where I was feeling better. And this really was the beginning of a process of understanding the impact of what I put in my body and on my body. Because while it started with foods, it eventually spread over into beauty products, cleaning chemicals, you know, you name it. Your skin is your largest organ. And what you put on your skin goes straight into your bloodstream. If you eat something, it is filtered through your liver. But if you put it on your body, whether it is a lotion, a soap, or laundry detergent through your clothes, whatever, it's going straight into your bloodstream. So I started learning all of this stuff about what I put in and on my body and how it was affecting me. And I spent about 5 years in the physical aspect of that. And then I came to this very transitionary point in life where I left a 20-year marriage that was a very unaligned relationship. Unfortunately, it was unaligned for the full time. I left that marriage. I left an unaligned career, also 20 years I spent as a music teacher. And while I love music and I love being a musician, teaching children music was not an aligned career choice for me. So I left both of those things pretty much at the same time. And that placed me in a position of basically of rest that I had not been in for my entire life. And being in that position of rest, I was able to begin to address some of the emotional traumas, things that happened to me when I was a young child, things that happened to me when I was an older child, things that happened to me when I was an adult, some really deep traumatic events that I had just swept under the rug for my entire life, had not addressed them. And I was in a position where I could actually begin to look at those things and address those things and peel back the layers slowly of all of this trauma. And as we know, the emotional is hugely connected to the physical. So as I did this, you know, I gained even more improvement in my physical health. And I decided that this journey that I had been on of all of this healing, the physical and emotional, was so profound that I could definitely help other people through a similar journey. So I've decided to go back to school because I love to learn, and the whole, you know, wanting to investigate and research. I went back to school and I obtained education in the holistic health field and started a business. And so here we are. I am in a completely different, much more aligned career in holistic health at this point. So that's how I got here.
Yeah, and it was really interesting. You know, oh goodness. I also had a relationship that I left that was very unaligned. And that was like Also rest. I had like a sense of like kind of peace that I never had, but I still um was very emotional and like, what is happening? You know, it was just like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what life is. I don't know who I am. I don't know, you know. And then when my dog got sick and I started on that the path of, looking at different um the remedies for her physically, it also brought me to the emotional side of things, and then I was able to bring that into myself. But like as a child also, I always had this burning desire to just like be in front of a lot of people. Like at one time I wanted to be like a famous singer, and then at one time when I was very into the Christian church and all of that, I was like, I'm gonna be a preacher. And I so I started to like talk in front of my mirror for hours, like I'm gonna be a preacher. But then when I really, really basically pulled away all the layers of like, what the world tells me to do and all of that, I I realized like I was meant to go on this very deep healing journey, as well, you'll hear about throughout our podcast. But I was able to go into the darkness of myself and the darkness of the pain and the things that we're told that we shouldn't look at because it's the devil and all those things. And and then I realized like this is what I'm here to do. Like I'm here to make a different I'm here to bring in a different world of like things that we haven't done previously. Like nobody has ever taught us to sit with our emotions, how to actually get to the core of what it is that is stopping us, or what it is that makes us feel that little voice in the back of our head. Like we are not taught these things. And so I have this big vision of bringing this to the world. And one day I remember thinking to myself, but like, who am I to do that? Like, there's so many people that are bringing big visions to this world. Like, I'm just another big vision that whatever, like,
Mhm.
who am I?
Mhm.
And then like the next second, and this is how I knew I was like doing good on my healing journey and like really starting to like embody these things, because my next thought was, who are you not to? Like, just because there's all these big movements happening does not mean that yours doesn't have a place also. Like
Mhm.
I know that bringing this like big movement of like unraveling our feelings and all the junk that we hold in our nervous systems, like that is such a major part of going forward in this world, and like how we're going to change the world from scary and fearful and struggling to like love. Like we are love.
Mhm.
So it's the more that we go inward, the more that we love ourselves, the more that we love people. The more that we can be with our emotions, the more that we can be with other people's emotions and help them through it. So I think a lot of people get on this entrepreneurial healing journey of trying to help other people because they really want to they're really looking to heal themselves.
Mhm.
And I know at the beginning this is what I was doing too. I was so interested in helping other people because I wanted to help myself, and
Mhm.
helping somebody else made me feel good. But until I really went into my darkness and it's like such a different energy, of bringing healing to the world and walking along someone's path with them. Um, so I think that's also a very interesting thing to look at with like healers and all of that in the world. And I'm not saying any of them are bad, or again, I'm not talking against any of them or anything, but it's just it's really interesting when the energetic change I felt in myself, because I help people literally. My like tagline, I guess you could say, is like, I help people to transform their energetic blueprint in their body to create like whatever they desire in life, you know? So I had to do that with myself first. I can't help someone do that if I haven't gone into the depths of me first,
Right. Yeah.
So that's another, like, a big part of why I'm bringing this to the world now, and why I'm here to, spread this out to the world, because like it's time to do things differently. Like, it's just time. And all of those old practices and all that old stuff, and like shut down your emotions because we have to be strong, like that's not a thing anymore. Like, that's not going to carry us into this new stage of the world that we're seeing.
Yeah.
So I'm just super passionate about that, and like, we can do things differently, people, like,
Yeah,
so
absolutely. Yeah, I think for all of us, no matter what it is that you think that your purpose on this earth is, or your mission in life is, for all of us, we have to learn how to step into our true essence, like who we really are. And in order to do that, we have to get rid of all of that programming and all of that trauma and all of those things that people told us we were supposed to be, or people told us we weren't allowed to be, or whatever, all of that stuff that's been programmed into our brains and into our bodies. And we have to learn how to remove all of that and just figure out who we are at the core of our being, without all of that. If there was zero outside influence from the beginning, who would we be? And be that person. And in doing that, we're automatically living out our purpose, because our purpose is to be who we are,
exactly.
to shine the light that we are, the individual light that we are.
Yep.
And we allow ourselves to be that without all of that conditioning, and without all of the fear of judgment and all of that stuff, then our lights shine, and we are automatically bringing light to those around us and helping other people to step into their own light, because it's so powerful. Just doing that for ourselves is automatically powerful and helping other people. And I think that's where the work is. That's where the work is. It kind of comes naturally. Assisting other people comes naturally when you've done it for yourself.
Yeah. And I remember at the beginning of my healing journey, I would listen to, endless YouTube videos and all these things, and write down notes. I have notebooks and notebooks and notebooks of notes of things that I wrote from like videos and all of this. And then when I would get on camera or try to like create something to, an offer, or even just a post or something, I was like, what did I learn? And it was like, I knew it all. I had the knowledge, but I wasn't embodying the knowledge. I wasn't, I had and I think back to like some of the, things that I would try to help people with. And I was like, wait a second, you're not doing this in your own life. Like, how are you going to help somebody with their boundaries when you're still allowing people to, step over your boundaries, and you're not, like, what? So I really had to go in and embody that. And, COVID and sitting at home, those months, or, however long it was, that was like a gold mine time for me, because I had no choice but to go within and really start to embody those things. And my life has turned around like 100%, and it just was like, I needed to go within instead of reading my notes and like knowing the things, I had to really embody it. And that, I think, also is the intersection there, is the embodiment.
Absolutely.
Because I was doing all the knowledge and the spiritual stuff, the meditation, the sage my room. I had my crystals, I had my this, I had my that. but I wasn't embodying this new energy that I was bringing to the world. I wasn't embodying my healing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that I think is that intersection, is the embodiment of it. And that is like the difference of, the people that are trying these spiritual practices and getting frustrated and like ready to give up, and they're just frustrated with the world, and they're never going to heal, and this is all just bull crap,
Mm-hmm.
and the actual healing, there's that, the embodiment and the healing and the actually changing your life, changing your world by just doing your inner work.
Yes. And the process of that is incredibly painful.
It
And
can be, yeah.
where I think people get um, confused or get off track is they think that they're automatically supposed to feel better.
Yep.
And if I don't feel better, I'm doing something wrong. And actually, you're going to feel a whole lot worse before you feel better, because you have to go into the depths of it. That's what you were saying with the embodiment. You have to go so deep into that pain and sit in it. If you just try to bypass it, it's never going to go away. If you just try to skip over that and go to the feel good part, it's
Yep.
never going to go away. And so that deep healing work is ugly. It is nasty. It is
It is like ugly crying in a ball. Like,
yeah.
oh my God. Like it
Yeah.
can be definitely, and that's another reason, for a partner, having a partner or a mentor, or, somebody that can walk you into that darkness and is not afraid,
Mm-hmm.
because they have been into that darkness themselves, and they
Exactly.
know that they've got that you can just let it all go, because that person is like, hey, nope, just keep going, we got this, just keep going.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the beauty of it. And the more that we go into ourselves, the more that we can be there to do that with someone else. I'm
Yeah.
not sure if I said this already, but like, when I went into my darkness and my deepest, darkest places, I can go and I can help you go into yours, because
Mm-hmm.
I've been there, and I came out on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that, like, it can feel really scary, and it can be um like, the world is like, oh my God, it's scary, don't go there, oh my gosh, don't go into your anger, don't cry, don't do this. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
no, this is the work. This
Yes.
is how we go from chaos to peace, and trying to survive to like thriving. Like, this is the intersection right here of,
Yes.
you know
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, so I'm really excited to dive into all of this in later episodes, because yes, it's so amazing when you really allow yourself to just go there, and you know
Yes.
so
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Well, we've covered a lot today. I think we've been on for about 40 minutes. Is
yeah.
there anything else that you wanna share before we wrap it up?
I just want to say thank you for listening, and you can follow our journey, and come along with us, and while we talk about these things and bring these things to light, because um, the world needs us, the world needs you, the world needs us, and we are going to create something completely different. So come on this journey with us.
Yeah, absolutely. And to piggyback on that, what Angela and I discuss and talk about and our journeys and our experiences, it's not always the most conventional thing. We we
Nope.
certainly have some experiences that and some thoughts and some words that are probably going to trigger a lot of people, but that's okay, because the triggers are where we find our healing and our growth. And so our conversation,
Trigger but not harm.
yes,
No harm done, just
correct.
yeah,
Our
absolutely.
conversations are not always for the faint of heart, but we hope that you will hang out and stay with us as we carry on into this new journey of our podcast, Adding the Alchemy.
Yeah,
So thanks for being with us
thank
today,
you.
and we look forward to hearing your feedback, and we look forward to sharing with you more very soon. Bye,
Yes,
guys.
thank you. Bye.